You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, we're going to be talking about Basketball Hall of Famer Charles Barkley here in this video. Now, yesterday on the Matrix of Road show, go and subscribe. I uploaded a video over there because Charles Barkley has a severe case of TDS. You guys may know he actually has a failing show on CNN. Yes, it is called King Charles, and nobody's watching. Gayle King, Charles Barkley, they are failing on that show. And Charles Barkley said the only reason why he even accepted that show is because he wanted to help out Gayle King. Nobody's watching. Charles Barkley has no impact on the Communist News Network. None. Now, people enjoy him on TNT. You know, that's his wheelhouse, talking about the NBA. But when it comes to politics, nobody cares. He fell into that same trap that's going to get Anderson Cooper, I believe Wolf Blitzer, all those guys on a clock now. They're about to get fired over there at the Communist News Network. Now, Charles Barkley apparently does not like black Trump supporters. He actually threatened violence on black Trump supporters, thinking he was actually going to get away with it. Now, of course, in the mainstream media, he's going to get away with it when you're on CNN. You know, because, hey, Charles, put those Negroes in place. You know, that's the way the left actually thinks of black people. They want them to be put in place. So if you oppose the Democrat plantation, oh, that's a problem then. That's why Charles Barkley is able to say what he wants to say. Well, guess what, guys? We got a couple of black Trump supporters here that aren't playing around with Charles Barkley. I mean, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, man. Charles Barkley does not speak for black people. Hard to believe, you know, that this same guy that told you in 1993 that he wasn't a role model. Parents should be role models. I remember that. It stuck with me. I believe I was like 16, 17 years old at the time. Charles was base. Sometimes he actually still makes base comments, but on this one here, his TDS got the best of him. So let's get into it, guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. Member live stream every single Friday. Just starts at $5 per month. We appreciate the support. So let's get into this over here on X. Newsmax actually puts this out because MAGA Hulk Stephen Davis calls out Charles Barkley. Yeah, I remember Charles Barkley actually used to be a Republican. Remember, he was actually talking about running to be the governor of Alabama back when he was in the NBA. You know, he's actually from Alabama. But man, how times have changed, I guess, here. But let's go ahead and listen into this clip here. And you're actually going to be able to see what Charles Barkley actually says first, just in case you didn't know what Charles Barkley actually said. So let's go and roll it.
The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible.
Former President Trump speaking 2 weeks ago saying black people like him because he's been hurt and discriminated against. But that is not sitting well with some people. And you may know him from watching the NBA. That is Charles Barkley. But he's not happy with what Trump had to say. And he said so on national television. Here's his reaction.
If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
No, Gayle.
Charles.
Gayle.
You really can't say that because, A, you don't mean that.
Oh, I mean that sincerely. I'm going to just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
I'm going to bail myself out and go celebrate.
Depending on the state, he wouldn't even have to pay. Barkley, again, going on to say he would punch someone in the face, a black person, if they wore a T-shirt displaying this image here, the mugshot of the 45th president.
You know what? I'm going to stop right there real quick. This just dawned on me, man. Charles Barkley making that kind of threat, you know, that's the exact kind of same thing, you know, that the Klan used to do to black people. You know, if you go out there, you vote Republican, we're coming after you. We're going to hurt you. And they did the same thing to white Republicans too. But anyway, let's continue on.
Let's talk about it now with Stephen Davis. He's better known as MAGA Hulk, and he's back on National Report. Hey, Stephen, nice to see you. Just wanted to get your thoughts. What's your reaction to Charles Barkley, what he had to say?
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. As a person of his size, his platform, he should not be espousing such things. It's egregious. He needs to be more careful of the things that he says, and especially since there's a lot of impressionable people who are going to listen to this and try to enact the same thing, which I would definitely discourage immensely, if you will, especially with someone like me. But it's actually rather interesting. This is coming from a person, the same person who once called Trump supporters crazy, right? I mean, who's the crazy person now, Charles? You know, as you sound like the prototypical unhinged leftist suffering from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So this is egregious. He knows better than to say something like this. And I hope that people don't take him literally in this regard, because they're going to land in a lot of legal trouble once they don't have the bail money to bail themselves out. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I think he needs to retract this.
Yeah, Stephen, I wanted to stay on that point. You know how you have these conversations on text messaging with someone, and it doesn't come out or read the way that it would if you had the verbal conversation. So that's how I look at this moment. You see the laughs, and it's banter between, Gayle King, Charles Barkley. You've got a live audience. Everyone's laughing. But if you actually took a transcript of what was said, would it be fair to say that there was there was racism used, again, only targeting a certain race, black people, and violence threatened, again, hitting someone in the face?
Yeah, that sounds like a Klan-like behavior to me.
You just read that. That's what you would see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what's so ridiculous about this whole situation. No one's going to call this out. No one's going to talk about he's promoting the idea of black on black crime. He's not going to call this out and say, no one's going to call this out, especially on the left, and say that this is egregious, that you shouldn't promote the idea of violence, particularly against a certain race of people who wear a particular shirt at that. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And if we really parse this out, and if anyone else, let's be completely honest. If anyone on the right ever said something of this magnitude, especially in regards to any Biden supporter, this would be on 24/7, 24/7 coverage. They would not let go of this. But it's okay when Charles Barkley talks about a Trump supporter, or talks about some type of person, especially within the black community, who's supporting Trump, who is representing Trump and his mugshot. Yeah. You know, it's absolutely sad to see, but this is the unhinged actions and rhetoric of a person who's embodying the leftist mentality. But like I said, the prototypical unhinged leftist suffering from TDS, and that's exactly.
Just wanted to point out, Gayle King, you watched. She tried to get him. She knew that. Okay, you're in dangerous water. Let me get you out. You didn't mean it. He doubled down.
Yeah,
No, I mean it.
Yeah, so you saw that right there, guys. You saw that right there. Also, Wesley Hunt, man, from my neck of the woods out here in the Houston area. He's a rep up there in the Cypress area where I used to live at. This is what he had to say about Charles Barkley. Wesley Hunt says, Charles Barkley fell into the media's trap by taking a 2-hour speech from President Trump out of context. Well, CNN always does that. They always do that. One thing I can guarantee is when you see Wesley Hunt sporting the mugshot, Sir Charles won't be punching this combat vet in the face. No, he won't. Wesley Hunt has actually done something for this country. He served this country in the Army, Navy. I'm not going to hold that against you, Wesley Hunt. But anyway, he served this country, man. He served this country. Oh, so he's right here with Benny Johnson. Let's go ahead and listen in to see what he said. Let's roll it.
Big sigh.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
No, Gayle.
Charles.
Gayle.
You really can't say that, because A, you don't mean that.
Oh, I mean that sincerely.
Your take, sir.
So, Benny, for the record, when things like that get taken out of context and they play clips like that, that's how nefarious and how deceitful our media is. It's pretty sad. So what you don't know is sitting over President Trump's left shoulder during that moment was me. I was sitting right behind him during a 2-hour speech that was given in front of over 300 black conservatives. And if you put that in the context in which you said that, it was absolutely hilarious. No one would have walked out. And by the way, it was a 2-hour speech about policy, about how the Biden administration has destroyed the black community, about how he wants to restore the prominence of the black community and get back to a successful place for all Americans. It was a 2-hour speech. And you know how candid President Trump gets. He speaks off the top of his head. He got comfortable. He was joking. He was jovial. We all loved it. They didn't point out the 300 black people that were sitting there connecting with this man. It's sad and it's pathetic. And by the way, Charles Barkley, who I'm growing up a big fan of, and I don't think he's going to punch this combat veteran in the face. Now I know he's 6'4", 350, and I got it. But I guarantee you, if I wear that shirt, or when I wear that shirt, he's not going to punch me.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Man, that is a couple of takes there from black conservatives there destroying Charles Barkley for his idiocy. Of course, the mainstream media is not going to hold him accountable. They're not going to call him out. You know why? Because they agree with this. They agree with this, man. This is really, really sad. Charles Barkley is not going to apologize. CNN is not going to demand that he apologize. It's not going to happen. He's getting away with it. You know, MSNBC, I'm pretty sure they have said nothing about it either. Why? Because they agree with this stuff. Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, they agree with all that Charles Barkley said. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.